Hi there. Welcome to the first video of how to make good figures for thesis and papers. And the first thing that you should notice is the alignment of these two logos on the slide. It took me quite some time to figure out how it should work exactly, but in the end I found out that for this to look natural is to make the black square of the UVA logo proportional to the somewhat black square, these letters here, of the VU logo. And then we do have the VU logo sticking out a bit here, and the University of Amsterdam logo sticking out there a bit, but it doesn't look unnatural. And it took me some time, and it brings me to the first principle, is you have to spend some time and dedication in your figures, and it's all worth it. But on the other hand, perfection can kill you. There's a lot wrong on this slide. There's a lot that I don't like. The VU letters here are not really black. There's multiple fonts in it. There's a little bit too much space in the P2 balloon and lots of other stuff. Right. So what it comes down to is to manage your time and motivation when making figures. You cannot try to reach perfection in one go for all the figures, especially if you have many in your thesis or your paper. Okay, so this video is going to be about the traveling tournament problem, which pertains N teams in N cities across a country playing a tournament of two N-2 rounds. And there's three constraints. One of them is double round robin violation. That's that each team plays each other team twice, once at home, once away. There's max streak of 3, at most 3 consecutive games away or 3 consecutive games at home. And there is a no repeat constraint, and that says, like, if you play team A in round N, then you cannot play it in N+1 again. So I hope that I lost you here, because this is exactly the idea. There's many papers about the traveling tournament problem without figures, and that makes the problem really hard to understand. But Nicolaus Vroner has written a paper in which there appears a figure, and here it is. This is column 1 is for team 1. Team 1 plays teams 5. Next week it plays team 3 away, then team 2 away, then team 5 away, no more than 3, team 4 at home, etc., etc., etc. And this immediately alleviates the need for the reader to imagine the whole thing from scratch, right? So basically what figures do, or are supposed to do for your paper or your thesis, is to lower the cognitive load of your reader. They are made to make your paper or thesis easier to understand. Okay, then there's one thing, and that is if you use figures, and I have a little problem with my zoom here, so I cannot really see. Oops. Can I move this part here? Yes, I can. There we go. Is that you put a reference to the material that you use, to all published material that you used, even your own publications. Put references in. Okay, so this is where we are now, but there's a lot of improvement to be done for this figure, all meant to lower the cognitive load and to make your paper or thesis easier to understand. And one idea was done by Eliane Visser, is to use colors. And this is an improvement from not necessarily this version, but the idea of using colors is an improvement to Vroner's idea. And what Eliane tried to do was get the teams their colors and also get these colors in these columns. There's of course a mistaken alignment here because it looks sloppy like this, and Vroner has done that better. There's always room for improvement, right? Now, one of the important things to note here is that you use contrasting colors or shapes for your figures. Personally, for me, this is non-contrasting enough. I'm slightly colorblind and I can hardly see the difference between column 1 and color 3. And then there's another principle, P6, which is very important to me. If team 1 is green in figure 1 and you use team 1 again in figure 4, it is still green. The colors and the shapes and the meanings of your visual elements should be constant throughout your paper. Don't change them because it's confusing. Lower the cognitive load. Okay, but we can still do better than this. And this was done by, I think, either Niraj or Chris Verduin originally. Chris Verduin is a name that you will see popping up a lot of times. What these guys actually did was take these logos from these teams that actually play in the UK and actually play a tournament and put them instead of the colors. Now note that the colors still have their roles. Chelsea is very blue, Liverpool is very green, and it's consistently being put throughout the columns that represent their tournament schedules. But there's also a big problem here, and the problem here is that they cannot use this. And they cannot use it because these logos are commercial logos, right? And that means you cannot just use them, not even with referral. You might get sued. Now, I never heard of a scientist being sued by a company for using their logo, but principally it's possible and it's bad practice. So what Christian Verduin did, and this was a lucky streak, you need to have some lucky streaks here and then, he replaced the football teams with baseball teams. And this is lucky because the traveling tournament problem was originally invented in the USA for the Major League Baseball. So it's better to actually attach baseball teams to the figure that you're making for the traveling tournament problem, as people that already know the problem will more easily understand it because they were already thinking about baseball teams. Okay, and the lucky streak we had was that this person, this Melling2293, recreated the original or nearly original logos on Flickr and distributed them under Creative Commons license. So here we have a treasure logos and we can use them instead of the UK football teams. Now the thing here is that I told you earlier to use contrasting colors and shapes. You should also do that with these logos, of course. So we're not using the Detroit Tigers and the Washington Nationals because they look way too much alike, and that works slightly confusing, but the less confusion we have in a figure, the better, because we are lowering the cognitive load of our reader. So these are the teams we came up with, and there might still be more contrast possible, but these are the ones that we chose. And here you see the figure of the traveling tournament problem, and look at the way we've come from nothing to this, to this, to this, and then to this. It's been a long way. But this is the most recent publication of the traveling tournament problem by Verduin, and he clearly uses the color coding, uses the logos, and uses the colors here to designate home and away. Dark colors means home, light colors means away. And this was still going to be a problem because who is playing at home and who is playing away? Does a light color mean that the Pirates are playing at home, or does the light color mean that the Nationals are playing at home? It is not intuitively clear, and there were better solutions. I'm going to show you them in a bit. But it took us some time, and we couldn't do it all in one go. This took us a year to get to this point, and from there we moved on. Manage your time and motivation as always. Okay, so at one point we added the rounds and trying to make it even more palpable to our reader, lower the cognitive load even further, but they disappeared in our latest version, which I'll be showing to you right here. So what we've done here, and this is from a paper by Verdijn, which is still due, it's still coming up. It's been written by Christian Verdijn, by Okke van Ecker, Rijtse Jansen, and Ruben Hoorn, 4 of my very brilliant students. And what we did here was look the color of the Red Sox. Of course, the Red Sox have a red color. That's understandable. It extends all the way down. And then a little logo of an airplane shows that the Red Sox are flying towards the Giants. So the Red Sox are playing away. And here the Red Sox are playing at home. And there cannot be any misunderstanding because this little sticker here is on the beam of the Red Sox. So that's what we achieve by extending this column downwards. Also, I'm still not completely happy with this figure because it doesn't really show that the rounds progress downward. So it doesn't show that this is round 1, this is round 2, this is round 3, etc. So I'm still not really happy, but this is the figure as it is. Also notice that I put a little stripy pattern behind it to make the opponent's area a little different from the Red Sox area, and I also changed the color from red to different red, from green to different green, from blue to different blue. See, so it's still the entire column follows one unity of vision, but you can still see the difference. But there must be more room for improvement because it's still a very big, busy figure, and maybe in the next years we'll even do better. So there we go. Okay, and the whole thing that I want to convey with this video is that a concept, a principle that you can adopt in your paper or thesis is the principle of visual storytelling, and we'll look more into that in the next video. Thank you.